Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Four Laps Down. We are very excited to be back with you this evening. We've taken a little bit of a break from recording new content for you guys just to get caught up on some other things, and we're going to be publishing all of our episodes here very soon to the podcast networks you're used to. But we're joined tonight by a very special guest, someone who we really like at Four Laps Down. We're joined by a NASCAR driver at the Xfinity and Truck Series level, Mr. Ryan Ellis. Ryan, how are you this evening?
Not too bad. What about you?
Doing well, doing well. And as always, we're joined by our esteemed co-host, Lieutenant Daniel Schiff. How are you, sir?
I'm good, bud. It's weird, man. We've taken off a break for a while. I didn't, I knew we were coming back, but it just kind of had to find that right piece to get us going back. And I think this will be a fun night for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
the hat.
Go ahead, sir. Oh, he's pointing out the hat. Tell us a little bit about your hat there, Mr. Ship.
Well, I guess, I checked my mail last week, I believe, and I was able to, I scored this along with another shirt from one of our good friends. I think all three of us are I can say good friends, Mr. Jonathan Morrissey of Richmore Floors. He was shipped this out. I think you got one. I know Ryan's got a couple there behind him. I guess he can say that he knows Jonathan a little bit. I mean, what, playing video games, does that count? Is that what we're going to talk about?
We probably played 60 hours. That's probably on the low side of video games. We haven't met in person yet.
Really?
I feel like I know him really well.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
So you guys have always been digital. You've always been digital, never in person.
Nope. Literally reached out to him, I think, like November of last year. And was just like, hey, man, I know you sponsor a lot of drivers, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd love to be one of them, get a helmet and all that stuff. And I don't know how the Call of Duty thing started, but literally, it's like every night now. It's not an exaggeration.
Listen, you're married, right?
Yep.
So is it like, hey, babe, I did the dishes, I did the laundry. Can I go play with Jonathan now? Is that kind of how it goes?
Tonight's like the exception. She's a nurse and she works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So when I get home, it's like, hey, see ya, okay. And then like it's just me and the dog. So it's me entertaining myself. But yeah, I mean, we play a couple games a night now because I'm an old man. But yeah, John and his buddy Mike are usually like trying to play till midnight, and I'm the guy trying to go to bed at like 10:30ish, 10.
I'm the same way with this one right here. He'll text me at like 11 o'clock. Hey, man, Jonathan's getting on. We're thinking about iRacing, and it's like 11, and I go, bro, I got to get up at 7 a.m. I got an 8 to 5 job. I can't be doing this no more, man. I'm 31 years old. I can't do this no more.
No, listen, before you
31.
So same as me. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So before you throw me straight under the bus, Mr. Ship. So, what he doesn't tell you is that, this nightly gaming has been, for me, it's been probably going on 10, 12 years now. So it's not like it's a new thing. And my wife's used to it. And I've been doing it since even before we were together. So it was just kind of always the thing. And I got lucky in that she just never really cared about it. But, it's been pretty fun. I'm not as into Call of Duty as you are, Ryan, because I'm absolutely horrible at it. We actually, I don't know if you remember, we played one night together, and we did get a win in Warzone, but that's a very, very rare occurrence for me.
So competitive, I can't take losing. Like the worst part of me comes out. It's like the racing part of me that like I don't want the world to see. That's why I can never stream.
Well, so what's funny is that I'm the same way, and that's actually one of the reasons. So I stream on Twitch, and that's one of the things that my regular viewers tend to enjoy. They like it when I lose more than when I win because I'm much more entertaining when I lose, is what I've been told.
No, people would hate to be like, that kid is such a brat. He blames everybody else. And accountability. That would be
you're talking about Nate. I swear it sounds like you're talking about Nate. It's everybody else's fault that we lose, not Nate's fault. Got you. Man, I swear that sounds just like that.
I mean, you know what? He's not wrong. But well, let's kick off the show properly here because as you guys know, we do record here for a podcast. So let's go ahead and get a solid intro for the podcast. So we're here on Four Laps Down. We've got Ryan Ellis with us, and we're really excited to have Ryan just be able to talk tonight a little bit about his racing career, but also his the fact that he has a day job. He, as much as he wants to do this full time, he's still he's got a lot going on, and he has a day job, and about that work-life balance and work-racing balance and all of that type of stuff. So, Ryan, before we get into all that, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves to our listeners, to our viewers, to our audience at home, and just tell us a little bit about your background and most importantly, I would say how it is that you got into racing.
Yeah, okay. So I feel like I have a pretty cool story of how I got into the sport. My grandpa raced back in the 1950s, and I actually threw a throwback scheme to him this year, courtesy of Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net. And actually, John bought the helmet that replicated my grandpa's helmet, Vic Ellis. He raced in the 1950s and lost his life in a racing crash in 1958. Same year my dad was born. My dad got into racing somehow, no clue how that happened. I got into it in 1993 when I was 4 years old. Did quarter midgets, go-karts, Legends cars, late models, and then I went the Grand Am road racing route. Kind of made a name for myself on that side. Got a call from Jimmy Means one day, like, "Hey, do you want to start and park a nationwide car?" And I was like, "That'd be the coolest thing, whatever. I'll just get the checkbox that I drove a NASCAR race car at some point." And then I just went head first into the NASCAR world, and have been trying to make it as a driver ever since. And like I said, I got a day job, work for CBDMD, and 8:30 to 5:30 every day. Got a 12 to 1 lunch break, and then I get home around 6:30, try to work out and play some Call of Duty and go to bed. Pretty normal life.
Yeah.
So have we decorated the cubicle yet? Because I believe I saw earlier at one point you moved cubicles. Is it still bare?
No, because the second I decorate it, I'm accepting it as like a home. So okay. I like it dead bare. Plus, I don't know what I'm gonna put in there. Like, I have some cool stuff around my office, but like I feel like it'd be weird if I like went in with a die cast or something. So like I just don't know what I'd put in there. Maybe.
Hey guys, this is my racing helmet from when I did a start and park at Kentucky. I'm just gonna sit that right there. It's cool, guys.
Everybody else has like pictures of them like playing sports or their family or friends. I'm like, I don't really know what I'd put in there. I guess I'd put like a racing sim or something.
Yeah,
I just people a little.
Hey, if I had like a die cast of a car that I drove in an actual NASCAR, I would flex so hard on the entire office. I would go buy a motorcycle and ride into work just to wear the helmet into the office, and I would wait till I sat down to take it off. That would be so cool.
I don't know how well that would go through the office, but I actually don't think that most of them know I race. They just like had me do a fun fact first. I was like, "Oh, I race on the side," and they're like, "Okay, cool." Like that was it. Because I knew it would come out, so I just wanted to get it out there. I was like, "Oh, I just race." And they're like, "Okay, cool. All right, move on." And that was my like introduction to my I guess my team at the workplace.
That's pretty neat. So a lot of people that we talk to, in the sport of NASCAR, they don't like it. They do it full time, but they don't have to balance it with all of these other things. Because I understand, in addition to your day job, you talked about the Call of Duty thing. You play hockey a couple of nights a week. You're a collegiate hockey player as well, as I understand it, a former collegiate hockey player. How do you find the time to be able to scratch all of these itches on top of running a couple races a year with the intent of running more races a year and knowing that it's going to make that work-life balance even a little bit more difficult? I mean, how do you manage all that?
I don't. It's funny because like as I've gotten to know people like John, they see just how insane I am. Like I come home every day like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm like losing my mind. And yeah, like man, I just had classes end 2 or 3 weeks ago or a month ago. So I'm still going to school at night. And like you said, I'm playing hockey. We have a baby on the way that's due in August. So that's going to add a little bit of.
Oh. Is that your first one?
Yes, first one.
Boy or girl?
Girl. So
okay,
trying to get that all together is a whole other world.
Okay, so you can talk to me or Nate. Nate's got a football team worth of kids.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so he can kind of guide you that way. But girls, man, I had a boy. Okay, he's got 5 kids. I was close. He's got a basketball team.
Yeah.
But like boys, you could give them something shiny and they go.
Yeah.
Girls, they love that attention. So
I got a year or two of just putting the baby in a crib and playing Call of Duty, and then I'm sure that didn't work too much after that. But yeah, it's like life itself. I like doing it because if life was crazy in one part of my life, then I can go play beer league hockey, or I can play Call of Duty, or I can go get some schoolwork done, or go to work. The work stuff doesn't necessarily get me away from the world. Obviously, it kind of just delves you a little bit deeper into it, but it's necessary, and it's I'm not ever trying to complain about it because 99.9% of the people in the world are going to work every day, and it's just I get the ability to go race NASCAR on the weekend, so I look at it as a blessing and not a curse. Sometimes.
So And I kind of want to look at that. So when Nate had brought it up and you had brought it up about kind of how you started, as I go through the most reliable source of information, Wikipedia. So
I do.
explain to me what this Volkswagen Jetta TDI Cup is. What
It's
is
the most interesting thing on my resume because nobody knows what it is.
exactly? I mean, that's got a lot of stuff going on this thing.
Yeah, so it was a weird thing that, like in the road racing world, was pretty visible, but outside of that, it really wasn't. It was Volkswagen put this series together with their Jetta TDI Cup cars. I think it was like 2010 and 11, and there might have been 2009, but I didn't compete in it that year because I didn't know how it'd go. And they took applicants from all across the world, and you had to find $45,000 worth of sponsorship.
Wow.
And that was the entire season. So that's a lot cheaper than an Xfinity race.
True.
Yeah.
But they created a reality TV show about it called Racing Under Green or Rookies the Racers. It was two different names. And Discovery Channel did like a 6 or 10 series documentary on it. And all of our races were on the Speed Channel. So it was really cool. And out of the 10,000 applicants, they narrowed it down to 50 or 40, and then they knocked that down to 26. The problem was that all the cars were equal, but they weren't equal. Because like the first year I didn't win a single race, and I was like, I'm the worst driver in the world. I had like no confidence. Won the second year, changed nothing. Won the pole the first 2 races. Won the first 2 races. Then they switched my car, and I went back to like running like crap. And then they switched my car again. I podiumed again. And that was the last race of the year. So it was a cool series because it got my name out there. It proved me in the road racing world, and it earned me a contract with Volkswagen the next year in Grand Am. But and it got my story out there with my grandpa, and they kind of highlighted that in that as well. But it was just cool to see I was on the Discovery Channel and had like a little mini doc on me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because as you read through it, a lot of this it looks like took place kind of in the Virginia area. Nate, do you want to guess what the season finale? Who was the sponsor at Virginia International Speedway in 2000? What is it? 9? Yeah, 2009.
2009. I'm a good trivia guy when I just pull it out of my butt and don't know the answer.
Go ahead.
All right.
Because you're not going to get it.
So the sponsor of Virginia International Raceway in 2009 was. I am gonna guess.
Not gonna get it.
That it was. Why? If you don't think I'm gonna get it, then what do you?
It's more fun because I know you're not gonna get it. But go ahead, give it a shot.
I'm gonna guess that it was Pirelli tire.
Yo, you're way off. Hey, do you ever look at those magazines that have the centerfolds that you open really wide?
Was it Playboy?
My sponsor was the Caps.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So you're running in a season finale.
Series. Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird deal. But yeah, the Jetta TDI Cup car, I actually have to drive the Cap sponsored car. That's what I was talking about.
Okay, I was off. The Mazda MX-5 Cup. Yeah, no, you are correct. I was incorrect. The Mazda MX-5 Cup was Playboy. That was my error. Yeah.
That was a weird deal. I don't know how they got that sponsorship. It was on national television and everything.
So you actually ran the MX-5 Cup that is like what everyone has to run on iRacing before you can run real cars. So you ran that series in real life.
Yep, and the TDI Cup car was like one of the first ones they put in iRacing because they actually used that to kind of proof of concept it. And I was on iRacing in 2009 just because of that.
Oh wow, okay.
Series. And like basically every car in that I've raced other than like the really elaborate stuff. Obviously, Formula One car I'd like to check off at some point.
Yeah. Hey, I think we'd all like to do that, but
yeah.
So you wanted to get into racing because obviously your family you come from a racing family, third generation. It's kind of in your blood. How have you managed to push through some of the challenges that you faced both as an up and coming driver, trying to get sponsorship, getting opportunities in all these different series, being willing to drive whatever they give you? What's been your mentality that's allowed you to be successful and get to the level that you have?
I think it's just that nothing's given. And I kind of had it that way. Like not my whole life. Like obviously it wasn't like my family was poor because you don't know a lot of people that come off like the streets and are driving race cars. It's not like there's little leagues of NASCAR everywhere. But like I never had the money to get past where we did with the Volkswagen stuff. I just got very lucky, just like every other driver, to be able to keep moving on. But like obviously it sucks because I don't have the last name of Elliott or Blaney or anything like that, or Burton even. Not, but I'm not jealous of that at all. I wish I had that. I'd give everything to have that, just because they have a different path. They have a little bit more sell, I guess, when they're talking to sponsors. But at the end of the day, I just kind of grind. I just look at every race as a blessing, and I'm like just super stoked every time I get to go behind the wheel. And CorvetteParts.net obviously took a big step with me this year, and giving me those opportunities. And without them, I'd probably only have 2 or 3 or 4 races this year. So I'm really blessed. I guess that's I'm just happy to be in a race car. At the end of the day, that's really all it is.
So I want to branch off of that, the opportunities, and it leads me really well. You are big on social media. You are big on Twitter. And nobody right now in the NASCAR world is bigger than Marcus. Marcus Lemonis is big. So it's interesting to me to see the conversations that you have, or the concept designs guys will bring up and bring out a paint scheme, and they'll tag you and they'll tag Marcus and go, hey, what about this one? And Marcus will go, nope, not close. Let's go back to the board. So walk me through that. And it kind of branches on kind of like that Ryan Vargas idea that I've had before, is that social media today has become more predominant in the business world than even your promotions board or your promotions chair, whatever the case may be, going out to get sponsorships.
Yeah.
Twitter has been incredible. So explain, kind of not walk us through, but just explain that kind of experience.
Well, you see it like even in the fighting world with Jake Paul, like that. I mean, what is he, top 10 in pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And now he's got Floyd. He's got
Floyd. Equal success in that sport, kind of like it is in NASCAR. But the Marcus thing itself is absolutely insane. I don't remember how it started, that Vegas race, I guess, but people text me and they're like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's Marcus saying? I'm like, literally everything you see online is what I know. Like, we DM every now and then, but I probably DM him like 12 times for every time I respond. And I don't say that in a bad way. He's a busy guy. He's the CEO of Camping World. That's a huge undertaking. And then he's got 100,000 drivers begging him for sponsorship every week. We actually have an announcement coming out probably in about an hour regarding that. So I'll leak that on here. But
hey, everybody needs to stay tuned.
I know, right? I was just looking at the rendering for it, but it's all public. And I know, like, you got into it with Brett Griffin last night, literally. I understand where Brett's coming from, and I have a similar view that in some ways that it can hurt the industry if people publicly take deals and they're in a oh my God, I can't talk. Top ride. But for people like me, it literally can open doors that would not ever happen otherwise. So it's a huge deal for me. He's great for the sport. And if you're looking for 100K a race, don't take his deals. He's not telling you that you should take them. He's just offering. He's just trying to help. And he's making a big difference.
Well, I mean, we obviously saw that, especially in the truck world, when there was 8, 9 trucks at one point that had no sponsorships. Yeah. And Marcus did that. And I think it was the Vegas race where it was like, hey, get me a rendering, put my name on it. You finish in the top, 10, you get, a some odd amount of money, you get a top 5, I'll pay you more money. I mean, to be able to be in that position for him, let alone his company being the name sponsor for the sport, I mean, it's kind of a blessing, but it's also a curse, because I can see where you're saying is that, you're not working for it. You're just reaching out. You're typing 140 characters, and you're basically couch controlling yourself and your destiny.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that you wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if you just said, you know what, screw it. Let me just see what happens.
Yeah, I lost, kind of giving away my announcement, but I had a sponsor that backed out, and not backed out, I don't mean that negative way. They had a financial situation at Ohio, and I was like, Marcus, like, please save me. And it's things like that, like, he's helping small businesses by being able to do that. He's helping race teams are small businesses. I guess I am a small business by just on the driver's side. So it's helped me a lot. I've probably gotten 2 or 3 races out of him at least. And it's helping small teams a ton. At the end of the day, like, we need those small teams to succeed and thrive. financially if they're going to stick around. I know everybody wants to see the junior motorsports and all those teams around there, but at the end of the day, we need the 20 cars that aren't competing for a win every week out there as well.
Yeah, especially those single cars. And I mean, even in that aspect, when you were in the truck race and you look at it, you know, the previous truck champion didn't have a sponsor.
That's crazy, yeah.
And Marcus put himself out there.
Well, now
he did
to be fair, he did not. He did not. But he
had a white truck.
But to be fair, there are a couple of teams at some of the lower levels that view a no sponsor is better than a cheap sponsor. Cheap, I use that word not to be disrespectful.
Well, perspective, yeah.
Perspective, because if you'll notice, Ty Gibbs at both the ARCA level and the Xfinity level is going to run without a sponsor multiple times this year because, number one, they don't need the money to put the car on the track, first of all. They have the money if they need it. But at the end of the day, some of them are, you know, I to a degree understand the GMS perspective of, hey, our trucks are worth X amount, right? Name your price, stick to it, because they're going to run the race, you know, regardless. But I also don't know that, now, if I'm the Gallagher family and in GMS, not sure I want my driver going and spouting off on Twitter about, you know, we know what we're worth.
At all.
Yeah, I just, at the end of the day, while drivers are the most, you know, not to speak as if I have the experience, and I'll let you do that, Ryan, but in my opinion, as a fan of the sport, as somebody who is dabbling in the media side of it, if you'll call that, you know, this podcast that, it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy when I see a driver going on Twitter and saying something like, hey, we don't care, we're worth X amount, you don't like it, no problem. You know, it's all about how you approach it. Now,
what he should have said was, how would my other sponsors that are spending 100 or 125K feel if they knew I publicly took this deal? Then it would, you know, decrease the value of my sponsorship going forward.
Correct.
That's the right way to say it. But he attacked Marcus when Marcus was like, hey, you know, I offered. That's all he had to say was oh, no, just didn't work out for us. That's all he had to say. But Sheldon, heck of a driver, but, you know, obviously he's got a lot of financial backing behind him. He's in a different spot. So he doesn't have to look for that sponsorship. And maybe it pays more dividends at the end of the year for him to run those trucks unfunded and focus on the bigger deals.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're right. The diminishing value of his existing sponsorship, you know, with Chevrolet and some of those other ones. I mean, I definitely can understand that perspective. You know, I think if anybody would understand that, hey man, business is business, it would be Marcus Lemonis, of all people, right? What I don't understand, while I see value and logic in some of the things that like Brett Griffin is saying, where he's, you know, very adamantly against kind of what Marcus is quote unquote doing to the economy of the sponsorship structure in the sport, I can understand the emotion behind what would make Brett say that. But at the end of the day, right? What other company, and I'm just gonna be transparent about this. I'm been a huge fan of Marcus Lemonis for many years, irrespective of his involvement in NASCAR. But obviously, one of my first loves as a kid, growing up and still loving it as a 30-year-old adult, to see him invest to be able to continue the product that I as a fan get to consume and to be able to help contribute to that and put good trucks on the track and allow good drivers and good teams that are underfunded to be able to actually put good trucks on the track. To me, that's tremendous. And I think that I don't see anybody else stepping up to do that. I don't see anybody else stepping up to say, hey, I'll throw money at a renovation of North Wilkesboro with no concept or clue if I'm going to get it back. I have no clue what my ROI is going to be on this, but I'll do it because I think if it works, big picture, it's a great thing for the sport. And I'm investing in the sport more so than this track, this driver. That's what I don't think Brett understands is it's not I'm valuing this driver at $15,000 a race, right? Or I'm valuing this team at I value the sport at a large scale, and part of that is this truck here, that car here, this truck here. I mean, keep in mind, he's sponsoring a cup team for, 25 races? You know, so...
I have no idea, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I didn't even know he was doing that till Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I think the biggest thing for me is that Marcus Lemonis is not the type of guy that's going to throw this level of money at something and he gets something out of it, right? But what I think a lot of people don't understand is that he may not get the financial ROI for Camping World by sponsoring 5 trucks that he gets he gets for sponsoring a cup team, right? The exposure from a cup team is tremendous. That's why it's so much more expensive. But maybe and I don't know if people like Brett Griffin have considered this. Maybe it's not about the financial ROI. Maybe it's about, I want this sport to succeed. I'm the title sponsor of this series. It's important to me that the big picture is overall positive, and that's why my money is going into this. It's not about this driver, that team, But at the end of the day, what a team like GMS is asking, it doesn't fit into the kind of the mold of what he's wanting to do. So that's that's the way I feel about it. I think it's tremendous for the sport. It's I shouldn't say everyone. A lot of people like yourself who are actually engaged and involved and work in the sport of NASCAR. I have yet to run across anybody who really feels as strongly as Brett Griffin.
No, and the problem is the guys and I don't mean this negatively towards him.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that the people like Brett, who have a big platform, are usually the ones that are in a very different situation than like me or Timmy Hill or Garrett Smithley, Cody Ware, like any of those guys. Like if we had a podcast like that, which we do, we just don't talk about it because I don't want to ever get in the middle of this crap. But we just don't generally have the loudest voices in the garage. And I wish they, asked us what do you think about it? We're like, it's great. He's a fan of the sport and he's supporting the sport. He's saying, hey, if you don't have a sponsor, here's X amount of money. Take it or leave it. Not a big deal. That's it. If anybody took that 100K or nothing thing, then I would have thought they were crazy. That deal, I was like, please stay away from that deal. Do not do that one. Yeah. But outside of that, I completely love Marcus for what he's done.
So you had mentioned before, and if I'm not allowed to touch on this, we can move on. You had mentioned before that there's some news coming out in
there you go,
30 minutes or so. Can you talk a little more specifically about that, or are we jumping the gun here?
No, it's not. I kind of round about it. It's Marcus is helping us at Mid-Ohio, and we have a that's literally what
2 weeks,
4 days away. Yeah.
Yep.
So car should be getting wrapped this weekend. Literally just got the final design while we were chatting before the show. So I'll probably post that on social media after this. But it's just a cool deal because, like I said, it was a small company. They're still going to be on the car. They're just going through a little bit of a financial problem right now. And Marcus stepped up, and I didn't lose a ride because of that. I might have lost the ride without that, and some other driver might have showed up with sponsorship or personal money. But he supported me and supported that small company by doing that. So I'm stoked because Mid-Ohio is my favorite track in the country. So
did we break news again? I think we've done this twice now. I think we broke news.
Keeping news. That's
so when Chris Womack from CR7 was on, he it was a little bit different type of news, but he announced to the world that Chase Briscoe was going to appear on the Racing Table podcast for the first time on our show. And I texted him afterwards. I said, you're probably gonna get your wrist smacked because I don't think we're the venue that the Racing Table and Click Marketing and all those guys want you releasing your information about your show. I don't think this is the place. But he said it came out. It is what it is. So
he's a good dude. He's one of my favorite people in the sport. He's just what NASCAR needs. He's just a good old country boy that loves racing, knows everything about everything.
And his TikTok is gold, by the way.
TikTok?
His TikTok is hilarious.
Oh, it's so good.
He posts once a month, and it's gold. I wish he would if he would post stuff that good every other day, he wouldn't even need to work. He'd make enough money off TikTok. He's hilarious.
Him a phone that literally had no internet access, so that's actually surprising to me.
Well, so he filmed one TikTok of him. Apparently his ex lives across the street, but close enough that she's within reach of a potato gun. So he filmed a TikTok of him and his son shooting her house with a potato gun, and I was crying. It was 45 seconds long, and I watched it probably 25 times. It was that funny.
He used to shoot potato guns every day at work at cars that were driving by. At Go Fast, at the Go Fast shop. He would just shoot them at cars that would go by.
Yeah, I mean, I envision... when I think of NASCAR and guys in the garage, I didn't know it at the time, but my whole life I've pictured guys like Chris Womack because
I found him.
the stories.
Woody Womack.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Woody
him.
Womack. So once they're done, make sure you check out. There's a TikTok of him that he filmed while you guys. I don't know if you were there, but while everybody was stuck in Texas last year because of the rain.
Oh my God, it had me.
He goes on and on, and I'm telling you, if he was to get on stage in an open mic night at a bar in Houston or Austin or San Antonio and say that 45 seconds, he would get shot 3 times. I mean, he was asking for a fight with people from Texas. He was talking smack about Texas barbecue. There it is. Yep, that's exactly. You got to play there in the background. It's absolutely gold. It's so funny. But
He's legitimately the funniest guy.
Yeah, he was in our chat earlier. What did he say earlier? And I want to give a quick shout out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this part will probably get cut from the actual podcast because we're just kind of riffing here. But I want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. We've got Mike Robert Senior's here. Bruce McIntosh is here. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
My mom.
Chris Woody Womack says it's finally back. He's been waiting for us to come back. We've been off a couple weeks. Tamarcus Morgan is here. Tamarcus Morgan from Rickware Racing. John Morrissey jumps in, and John actually left a comment that I'm going to save until I'm done with this. Lead me into our next part of our discussion here. Mm-hmm. John's here. Bobby Peters is here. Thanks for watching, Bobby. And Chris Womack says Racing Wives. There you go. Yeah. Let's see here. Who else is here? Michelle Moore. I'm probably saying that wrong. Says switch those jerseys for a Vegas Golden Knights one. I'm not sure that'll happen.
I fought her off on that one. I already said those are staying.
Cindy Chapman is here. Thanks for watching, Sydney. You said your mom was watching?
She was, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Chuck Moffitt is here. He says AEKDB, right? I don't know what that means.
We're fraternity brothers.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So we got a lot of people jumping in. So I wanna segue into the next part of our show here because obviously we're all gamers. You're a big Call of Duty guy. So I want to ask you to replay for us the night that your sponsor, John Morrissey from Richmar Florist, Richmar Racing, carried you to victory in Warzone. Because he insists it happened. I've heard his side of the story. Now I need to hear yours.
Yeah, we did hear his side. He came on the show and said that. I remember
when
that.
he said that, I'm pretty sure it had not happened. It actually happened 3 days ago.
He told me about it the other night on iRacing. He mentioned
he carries me. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, 2 or 3 days ago, he carried me to win. I was it was like a duo that we were running, and he picked me up a couple times, killed a guy who was about to kill me, and it was an epic game. We won one literally 3 days ago, I think. But he's a good dude. I like playing in his lobbies because he's played a lot less days than I have. So, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, we've got so our regular Fortnite squad, because yes, I'm a child, I play Fortnite, whatever.
I could dancing cartoons.
I'm looking up the team, by the way. Not
yes, dancing. So a buddy of mine made fun of me for a long time, and he's older, like has adult children older, and he kept saying he would watch my Twitch feed. And he said, "I don't know why you're playing those dancing cartoons. It's ridiculous." And I said, "Listen, you don't have to play. No worries." And then he figured out, so we do a live show every fall for football season, right? On 4 Laps Down, we call it 4th and Long. We did a draft special last week. He's a big part of that show for us, and he is the type of guy where he's all in, or he's out, right? So he went and bought like a new PC, he bought a gaming PC so he could do like the live streams with quality, bought a really nice camera, all this kind of stuff. So I told him, I said, you have that gaming PC that you bought for our live streams. I said, all you'd have to do is go buy an Xbox controller and you can play Fortnite with us for free. You don't even have to spend any money. And he goes, I'll try it because I'm sure it's going to be dumb. And if it doesn't cost me anything, I'll play. I swear to you, because he has like an outside sales job and works from home. If he don't play 6 hours a day, then I would be shocked, because he is absolutely addicted to this game and he made fun of us for so long. But he is our guy that brings the lobbies way down, because he hasn't played video games in like 30 years. So I can definitely appreciate, we call him the lobby anchor, because we tend to get the bots and the new players and all that kind of stuff. It makes my Twitch stream exciting because we win a lot more. So it is. It is what it is.
Battle Royale, 25 days of gaming.
Oh no,
that's just Battle Royale. So I've taken like months off too when I've been frustrated.
That's intense. But I've easily put that much time in, probably to Fortnite, in the last year as well. So I listen.
Love-hate relationship, that's for sure.
No judgment here. Oh, definitely. Like last night, I was I can take a PlayStation controller. I make the joke that I can field strip a PlayStation controller and rebuild it because I've had to do it so many times. I've broken it up. I have a box full of parts.
We used to live off a main road. I used to just throw them into traffic. Not at the cars, at the ground, so that they get run over by the cars.
That's great. That would feel incredible to be able to just know that you did that.
It's good just watch them get run over time after time.
Yeah. So back to the racing deal a little bit. Tell us a little bit about some of your goals. I mean, obviously, you're doing a tremendous amount of work to, get opportunities, but maximize those opportunities. Congratulations on your run at COTA, by the way. I haven't said that tonight, but it deserves recognition. Great run for you there, and you're doing a great job maximizing the opportunities that you are getting because you're having to earn them and fight for them. Talk to us a little bit about kind of what are some of your goals and aspirations when it comes to racing over the next, say, year, 2 years.
So I don't really know if I set long-term goals. I do in a way, but I'd love to be full-time in Xfinity next year. And, next time we're like, hey, you missed your 8 to 5 job. And I'm like, no, this is amazing now. But I don't know. I guess I take it so much week to week and I'm just fighting for every extra race, every opportunity that, I hope I can take a partner like Keen Parts and Rich Parr and AVS, audio video specialist, and obviously anything with Marcus, and build it into something much bigger. By the way, 3030 Coffee is also on our car coming up here. And we might have a few other partners that are joining us. But I don't know. I would love to be full-time in Xfinity next year because I haven't given up on the dream, as stupid as I am. I think it's possible. It just comes down to partnership. And, with Tom and TJ Keen, they've been around the sport forever, and they've done a lot for me this year. But who knows? I would love to be full-time Xfinity, but at this point, I just want to finish top 20 every week with every opportunity I get. COTA was ridiculous. That field was stupid. I've never seen that many freaking good cars in one spot. Andy Lally finished 22nd. I mean,
it was right around 20th. Yeah.
So and when you look at it, I mean, Darlington, you finished what 16th. Yep. I mean, hey. So when I look at this, and I wanted to know because you've been doing this kind of spot starts in here and there. Does it get nerve-wracking? And the reason I say that is, all right, so you're not so in Xfinity, you're not the Noah Gragson, you're not the David Starr or Kyle Busch or whatever the case may be, Brandon Jones. So you're getting in a car that you haven't run in a while.
Did you put David Starr in the same sentence with Kyle?
I'm just talking about long-term.
And Noah Gragson.
And Noah.
All over the board.
Well, Noah and Brandon, they have a history. Noah and David have a history, so we can just leave it at that.
It's a short history, but hey, I will say this. Noah was a lot of fun in the casino for the 10, 15 minutes the night before the Xfinity race in Dover. It was a good time. I won't get into detail because I don't know him well enough to, Anyway.
So what I was asking is, so when you get into these cars that's really, you take a couple weeks off, you get in, is it nerve-wracking to the fact of you're not trying to screw up more than high finishes? You get what I'm kind of where I'm going at, because it's.
I guess my NASCAR career has always been like this, so it's not weird. The only time it's ever been weird, other than getting in a cup car for the first time and being like, please don't crash Jeff Gordon, please don't crash Jeff Gordon. It was this second to last race. It was Phoenix, and you had to make the finale, and that was my cup debut. I literally fenced it on the back straightaway trying to get out of his way in practice. But the most nervous I ever was honestly before Atlanta, and I wasn't nervous at all going into it. And I got in there, fired up, and everything felt normal. And then I hit the banking for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I just signed up for the Richard Petty driving experience. Because I was just like, I can't believe I'm about to just sail off with no practice, nothing, into turn one in the middle of the field. Not the back of the field, just middle of the field. I'm just going to lift where everybody else lifts. I hope it works. But then 15 laps later, it was back to normal. So I'm not nervous at all going into anything, but it was weird. I was actually nervous at Atlanta. I didn't want to admit it. I told my friend Tanner Berryhill, because he was like, how is it, man? Because he hadn't run 4 or 5 years too. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to lie. Kind of nerve-wracking for the first lap. But yeah, other than that, everything, I guess I've been around longer than them, so it doesn't bother me when I look at a guy like Noah. I'm like, I might have as many NASCAR starts as him, so whatever. I'm the veteran.
And when you look at it, your last start before was in August of 2019 at Road America.
Yeah, my last oval race before Atlanta was my last Cup race in Texas in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird stop because then that put in perspective. 5 years later, I was getting back.
Like, exactly. So
in Iowa, that didn't count.
So how does this work? Because I've always wanted to know it because like you look at like a guy like Boris Said comes back and he races. Is it kind of like the teams have like a list of drivers that are looking for spot start? I've always, or is it just they have certain people they call, they don't call these people, or is it, oh shit, we need a driver? Oh shit, Ryan's available.
Being like, I need bananas. You just like, all right, I got a sponsor. Oh, let me call this team. Like I could go. It's not an exaggeration, and I don't mean this in a negative way towards anybody that's currently driving for him, but
yeah,
I had $6 million. I can call somebody, Joe Gibbs Racing or Stuart Haas, and be like, hey, I want to drive your Xfinity car next year. And I'm like, all right, how much you got? Boom. Okay, I'm driving full time, like guaranteed.
Okay.
So, and when I talked to BJ, I just called him at the end of last year, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of looking at these 6 or 8 races. I have X amount of money that I know I have, and on top of that, like I think I'm going to find some more. And like if I told him I had $2 million, it'd be like, okay, you're running the whole year. Good luck. So it's very much driver based. If teams know you have money, they'll probably call you. But 99% of the time, I assume it's, at least in my experience, being a guy that's fighting for things every week, it's me calling teams. And I get the sponsor, find out how much they have. I call the team, and I'm like, hey, this is how much we have. And they say, oh, we need this much. And I'm like, okay, well, we have this much. And we kind of wiggle it down to figure out what we have and try to work off the fact that I can pay for my travel or something. Because I don't make any money doing this stuff. I spotted for Matt at Coda just to cover some of my travel expenses. I ended up in the negative, like $200 for Coda. Because I suck at negotiating, apparently.
Yeah, but
so you were there during the rain?
Yeah, I was sitting in the rain.
Where were you at? Where are you at in the turn?
Turned 12 and 16, right where I ran out of gas the day before.
You knew what to tell him.
He ran out of gas in front of us, and I was like, "Yeah, that was me."
That was me.
But no, it's like any other general market, I guess, where you're if you find the money, you can negotiate with any team.
Okay.
And I'm usually calling the team. Sure. Like if I had $10 million in my bank right now, burn a hole in my pocket, they'd all be calling me.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you heard it here first, teams of NASCAR. Ryan Ellis has $10 million in the bank. Please call him.
Cash it after the season.
Yes.
Yeah, you could.
So it's interesting, and I was going to ask you about that. So I know that you spotted for the 21 for Matt DiBenedetto on Sunday at Coda. I was going to first ask you about the weather. How horrible.
Dude, it was... I remember sitting there the entire day, like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing? So many better places I could be right now. Because Matt was having a horrible day himself. But yeah, I didn't have I was soaked. I was saturated, sitting in a puddle. Me as Stephen Parsons and Tanner Berryhill were all spotting together. We had a little driver hoot or whatever you want to call it. And we took off and ate at a Mexican restaurant between qualifying and the race.
Oh, nice.
Get out of the weather, but it was miserable. Sucked.
So, have you ever spotted before, or is that your first deal spotting?
I spotted for Matt back when our TMG days when I'd start in park. I'd spot for him then. And I used to do it on the side. If I was racing Xfinity, I'd spot for Cup guys. Just like I said, they pay for your flight or a couple nights of hotel. So it's totally worth it. But I like spotting. If I couldn't race, I would totally consider that as a career like Reed Sorensen and a few other drivers have. It's way harder than it looks, man. It's first off, I don't have the attention span for that crap. So that's the hardest part is for 4 hours just staring at one car. But second off, you actually make a competitive difference, Or when I was PR and marketing, other than finding money for the team, I wasn't doing much to help the team. But with spotting, you have a direct impact on whether the car crashes, runs well, runs bad.
Wasn't it Leighton that we dealt with that also did spotting too?
Yeah, so we had Leighton, I'm going to butcher his last name, Sabile from JDM.
Yeah.
He was telling us how he got roped in the day of. They're like, hey, so you're going to be spotting at Road America. And he was like, oh.
It's way harder than it looks.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, I would never sign up for Daytona Talladega. I did Bristol for the first time with Matt, and that was terrifying enough.
Yeah.
But
I can only imagine Talladega.
Yes, Talladega.
So
I would just fall off the freaking roof just on purpose, just to get out of that situation, because you can crash the whole field.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do everything else. I do want to pit a car at some point. I've done PR, I've done marketing, I've driven the race car, but I need to go over the wall at least once and change a tire or something.
That, to me, I feel like being a great tire changer is got to be one of the harder things to do in the sport. I mean, obviously driving takes a special skill. Spotting is kind of a special skill. I feel like it's not just, I feel like you could carry a tire. You could even be the gas guy, the jack man. I feel like those guys that change the tires, I mean, because I've seen them when they're warming up on the little thing on the side of the pit box before the race, and they're just, I mean, it's,
they're actual maniacs, though. Like, I feel like when I'm turning into my pit box and I see just hundreds of them just running different directions like little ants, I'm like, why are you doing this?
That's an adrenaline
mentality of these guys that are racing the cars that you're running out in front of them. You would not be doing what you're doing. Like, we're looking at tacks, we're looking at pit signs and stuff, and they're out there just like running in front of cars going, well, it looks like it's slow, but it's 45 to 60 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and especially at Darlington, I mean, that's a tough place to get onto pit road. Coming off of 3, and you're having to dive it down in there, and then it narrows down really well. So then you've got to keep it on the right side.
Thank God we never reflex stop. Hopefully I'll never find out.
Yeah, exactly. So next year, the goal at this point is to get enough sponsorship to get an opportunity full-time at Xfinity. If someone came to you and offered you a full season truck deal, would you consider doing that?
Not even close. I would be like, yes, let's do it right now. They haven't made like a racing trucks. I'm going to take it, obviously, but
right,
it has to make financial sense for me, my family, for me to obviously like make enough money to do it. Because sometimes with that stuff, you don't have, I wouldn't have the ability to work a full-time job.
Right.
I'm running a full schedule. I was actually literally going to, like, in the past, I was going to hit up Marcus for a job. Be like, hey man, will you hire me? He'd be like,
I'll sell some RVs.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you can make a lot of money selling in a Camping World store. I've seen some numbers because I sell cars for a living, so I've seen some colleagues go over to Camping World, and I've seen
to sell cars.
Man, the commission checks are massive.
If you told me I was full season Canyon or ARC, I'd do it. Like, I by no means would like shut any of that down. It's just got to make financial sense. Not like I'd make money, obviously, doing what I'm doing right now, but I just want to make sure that I can have my daughter live a happy life and hopefully drive some race cars.
There you go.
That's definitely the priority. So,
hey, real quick, guess what?
What?
Can I say it now that he's also from my home state? We're in the same state. Because I do that every time we have one on. I haven't told you that yet.
Where are you from?
He's from North Carolina. He lives in North Carolina.
Ryan lives
in North Carolina.
Yes. You're pointing down, but on everyone's screen, you should be pointing up.
Okay, hang on. He's from North Carolina. Nope.
There you go.
Yeah, he's in North Carolina.
Yep.
I know that. So what do you want to tell him?
No, Fayetteville.
Oh.
See, I was up in Statesville yesterday because, as I told, I had my little hat for my conference. So I was up there. So again, I pointed out every time when there's a North Carolina person on, I have to say it.
Oh, you got a bond with them.
Yeah, nobody from Ohio wants to come on here.
I don't know that anyone from Ohio really, besides me, really cares that much.
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio. Hey, I'm about 2 hours from Mid-Ohio. It's not that far. But anyways.
You can spot for him.
Hey, we might need a spotter. If you want to break it in, let's do it.
I think Leighton. I believe he brought that up.
I told Leighton, I was like, if you need a spotter, call me. But the I think my son's birthday party today. So my wife, could you imagine? Hey, so I'm not going to be at my kid's first birthday party because I'm going to go spot a race.
Bro, you have 4 others. You're fine.
Well, listen, I agree with you, but there's someone close to me that does not. So
I totally agree.
Yeah. So next year the goal is full time. I think I could speak for all of us. Here with I just want to let you know the way you approach the sport, your tenacity, your willingness to fight through everything. To me, I think is really cool. It's easy to root for you. It's easy to It's easy to want the 99 Xfinity car when you're driving it to be up front. I don't care when Stefan drives it because he's not cool. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But
hey, he has Dogecoin, okay? So he promotes Dogecoin, so he can do well.
So if you can do me a favor and make Dogecoin spike again, I would love
for
that.
real, so I could sell.
I would love that. But
no, I should have though.
I know I speak for Ship when I say this, and I think a lot of fans across the country that watch NASCAR. I mean, you're easy to root for. You're exactly the type of guy that we want to see succeed in the sport. We're very thankful that you were willing to come on the show. You know,
just grind your way through it, man. That's all it is. You got to support each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, and I appreciate that. And I do want to ask, so because I should know the answer to this, so don't kill me. Are you still doing your podcast with Matt?
That's a good question. I have to text him tonight. No, I'm sure we are. It's we've gotten, since my job is like a lot more structured. It's like 8:30 to 5:30 now. Like making superstar Matt DiBenedetto, which is funny to say just because I'm making fun of him, work around my schedule is kind of difficult for him. So I got to figure out when we're going to record. But I think being around Charlotte this weekend, I'm sure we can just speed over. It's only 10 minutes down the road and knock an episode or two out. But yeah,
we'll be there. I'm leaving Friday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell everybody who's listening and watching at home, tell us a little bit about your podcast. And then I want to give you an opportunity before we wrap up here to just kind of spread the word out about anything that you want people to know about, any personal projects you're doing, any causes you care about, anything, kind of that you want to make sure that people are aware of.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I already forgot the first part of that question, but our podcast is called Not Another Racing Podcast. Me and Matt joked for years about it, but we thought it was going to end our careers. But luckily my career kind of ended itself. So we wanted to get our stories out there from being on the road and our stupid rental car stories about times he's pulled the e-brake and about killed us both, or leaving crew members in Phoenix because they got too drunk at a party the night before a race accidentally and we lost them. Just little stuff like that, or Josh Wise and Scott each other for free dinner, all that stuff. We're just that story will never get out there. And I think if racing truly knew that stuff happened behind the scenes, they'd fall in love with the sport. We want people to know that we're not all robots. Obviously, you see people on there, all they do is plug their sponsors because they're on their own channel. They're on their own, or they're not on their own channel. They're on somebody else's platform. We wanted to get everybody on there and have drivers get on there, tell their own story, and kind of get to know them through a driver's perspective. So still doing that. Check it out. Not Another Racing Podcast. Stupidest name ever, but me and Matt took 2 weeks to figure it out, and eventually we just gave up. And that's what we landed on. I want to make sure I thank, obviously, Keen Parts, CorvetteParts.net, Tom and TJ Keen. They changed my life this year by giving me the opportunity to race. Richmar Florist, Pit Stops for Hope, 3030 Coffee, Marcus, obviously with Good Sam's, Camping World, audio video specialist, good friend of mine, Casey Elliott, 3030 Coffee. Did I already say them? I can't remember if I already did. But I'm not as good. I'm not as good at the sponsorship stuff anymore. But yeah, we got a lot of cool sponsors coming on this year. I'm sure I forgot a few. Like you guys said, every sponsor truly means a ton to me, because without them, that's a race I wouldn't have.
You still got me?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't know if it was me.
No, it was. So my Wi-Fi kind of spiked there for a quick second. We heard what you were saying, but the video was a little choppy. But
no, you're good. No,
okay, I'm looking around at my computer, going, okay, what needs to be unplugged?
Yeah, no.
Who's on the Wi-Fi?
It was me guilty. About this time every night, we've got 5 TVs on Netflix, and it kind of creeps everything to a halt.
I got you.
But well, yeah. I mean, thanks for coming on. I mean, are there any anything else you're doing that you want to get the word out?
No, I'm literally outside of the things that we mentioned. Come out to my beer league game. I think we might be playing this weekend if you guys are bored.
There you go.
Yeah, text me, DM me, come out, drink some beers, watch some hockey, watch me probably break an ankle or something.
That'll be unfortunate for Ohio.
Break your ankle or someone else's ankle?
We'll figure that out when we get there.
Yeah, and if you get out there and throw some dirty dangles, and you never know, you might snap.
Depends on how much we drink.
That's true.
No, it'll be
skate with a beer.
Wait, check out. I'll probably put an announcement out in about 20 minutes whenever I get to it. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to Mid Ohio. Hopefully, you can make it out spot for me.
There you go.
Hey man,
he's gonna have a cooler of beer sitting in one of those turns. I'm just letting.
I don't think they let you drink when you're spotting. I've never done it, but I'm just guessing.
You will find a way.
Listen. As much as it would be, I have no shot of ever being a professional race car driver, but it would be a dream job for me to be a spotter full time. So I would not jeopardize my first. I would not jeopardize my first opportunity by shotgunning bush lights on the spotter stand.
You can do it after.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a time and a place. But cool. Well, listen, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we're just very grateful that people like yourself who don't. I mean, you're probably not going to gain anything, by coming on our show. But I appreciate the help and the love, and we'll be sure. I've tried to tag all your sponsors in our posts coming up to tonight, just to make sure they know that you're getting the word out, and talking about them and everything. But with that being said, man, we'll turn you loose, let you go shoot some people in Verdansk with Jonathan, and we just appreciate everybody who's tuned in tonight. Thanks again for a great episode. Thanks to all the folks at home watching as we kind of record our podcast live here on Facebook. All the groups that we've shared the post in, all of the people jumping in the chat, all the viewers. We had a couple hundred of you tonight. Just a great turnout, great showing. So with that being said, guys, we will be back. I will be announcing in the next day or two when our next live episode will be. We are working with a great guest, so go ahead and announce. We're working with Nick DeGroot. Who is L? Oh, I lost everybody. So I guess with that being said, we will. I'll go ahead and finish what I was saying. But we're working with Nick DeGroot, the editor of motorsport.com, a great racing guy, great iRacer, knows a lot about the sport, really phenomenal guy to be coming on our show. We're really excited about that. But with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Nathan. On behalf of our guest tonight, Ryan Ellis, and my co-host, Mr. Daniel Ship, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys, and we will be sure to see you next time.